Welcome to Season 4, The Myth Breakers. Today we have a wonderful guest from Lucknow, Dr. Sitanshu Kumar. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm really grateful, sir, that you could have taken out time for us. And if you could share a little about yourself to our listeners.
Yes, sure. Uh, Hina, first of all, my name is Sitanshu Kumar, as you have told, and I am born and brought up in Lucknow. At the age of 13, or I think in 14, uh, I was affected by muscular dystrophy, a progressive nature disease, uh, which uh, makes my life very much different. Gradually, I got weakness increased, and after that, but God, mm, God is great, and God gave me that extra courage to face all that. I completed my graduation from Lucknow itself, and of course, in between, I faced some embarrassing situations in my student life, but my nature was never give up and never to be ashamed. So that's why I never gave up, and I continued moving forward. And after that, in '86, I got my fifth job. Earlier, I have left four jobs, and then I got selection in bank, and I joined there also. So then, in short, if I say I was moving ahead with my muscular dystrophy, and this was a big hurdle for me, but in fact, my parents and family were supportive, so I never felt that I should give up this and this and this all that. And I completed my studies. I got selection. I after that, one unfortunately in '96 I met with an severe accident with me, and I got my femur bone fractured. Uh, and this this period, I mean, I have to stay on bed for 6 months. I can't turn my side even. So this period of 6 months was a great. You can say this was a turning point of for me. And in that period only, I started writing. This was my childhood wish that whatever I write should be published. But this wish of mine fulfilled in after that accident. So I started writing, and I started my poems published also during that period only.
Sir,
Uh,
so it must have been really a devastating moment initially when you met the accident and were, confined to bed.
yes. First reaction was when I met with that accident. First reaction
Mm-hmm.
in my mind was that my life is finished now. I can't do anything anymore. But uh, there was a chance to think about myself.
Okay.
That those 6 months are just a thinking period. You can say that was a thinking period for me. I analyzed myself. I remember that I have written my first poem in the dark night without any light. I was not able to move even, and just uh, just on one envelope I have written that poem. First poem was written on an envelope. So this was a very much I think it is right to say that those 6 months changed me a lot.
As you have rightly said, that was a turning point wherein you had time to reflect and introspect about your own life. And since you
Exactly.
had shared that you had written on an envelope, and so it's like it's posted now.
Uh, After that, I have written a lot of poems, and I got my collection of poems. Actually, that collection is poems for the children. Uh,
Okay.
that yeah, um, that collection is published, and I got that collection translated into Braille also for
That,
visually impaired children.
that's wonderful.
And yeah, and I want to inform through your platform that Braille edition of my book is available for visually impaired children free of cost. If anyone wants to uh, take it, he or she can write to me, can mail to me, and I'll send it to that person.
So if you could
So
share your email address.
sure, definitely. This is Sitanshu, SITANSHU 60 @gmail.com. Uh, Anyone can write on this mail. And after that, Hina, again, a turning point came into my life. That was after 10 years of my accident.
Okay.
After 12 years, I think. So, what happened that once I was just sitting alone, and a thought came into my mind that uh, I'm writing, yes, I'm writing, and I am releasing my frustration, I'm releasing my thoughts, I'm releasing whatever was in my mind. But I'm not doing anything for the society. I'm not doing anything for the children. I'm not doing anything for the others. And that was again a turning point, and I took 1 year, almost 1 year, thinking this. And finally, in 2009, I established an organization, that is Shashwat Jigyasa, uh, for this purpose. I was very much alone when I established that. I searched 7, 8 people necessary for the registration, and I got it registered.
Oh,
This was the start of, and till that date, uh, I was a wheelchair user. I started to use wheelchair in 2005 or 2006, I think. So I was on wheelchair, and many people say that you can do a less thing, lesser in the, I mean, uh, less amount of work you can perform. But I feel, personally, I feel, and frankly, I would like to share it, that after being a wheelchair user, I am working more and more. Before that, I was just an ordinary bank employee. Just go to office, come back, take a tea, had dinner, and slept. But after, when I came on that wheelchair, this was, as I say, this was again a turning point for me. And after that, I never looked behind. I'm trying to do good things for the people with special capabilities, to people who are needy.
okay.
That's it
Um,
about me.
would like to know more about your current work, but before I ask this, I would also like to know, so when you were a student, and at that point of time, did you feel at any point that people should not be asking particular questions?
Actually, at that time, it was an emotional age, I think. That student age is always has that emotional part more than analytical part. So when we think emotionally, There are many things in life which can hurt us. And in the same manner, no one was asking, in fact, but everyone was expressing the sympathies. What happened to you now? What will you do? But I never liked that. In college also, I was a student of Lucknow Christian College, and in college also, I feel embarrassed when uh, is everyone go up to stairs to attend a class. So at that time, I feel if I go with them, that will be a mm, fun for them to see me to go up the stairs like that. That I I have to take the support of the wall at that time, and I can go up, but I have to take support. So what I did that I always waited for I always waited to mm, go everyone first, and at the last I go up. That was some embarrassment for me. Sometimes someone pushed me unknowingly, and I fell down. That was again I have to take support to get up. I think everyone has to fall. Everyone should fall. Mm, At condition, I say everyone should fall. Otherwise, he or she cannot learn to get up.
That's beautifully articulated.
So,
And
yeah, please.
I'm really thankful to you for sharing this aspect. And I hope now by listening, especially the teachers and all, they should take the responsibility of educating the children and have a comprehensive, outlook and embracing each one as they are
Yeah, I
because it
hope
is
so.
important.
So,
And who were your people who helped you to motivate or cope up in the tough situations that you were in?
frankly speaking, people can be our guide. People can be our mentor,
Right.
but the most important thing is self-inspiration, self-motivation. If I am not inspired by myself, if I am not motivated by myself, I can't do anything. Many great people are there in the world. Many great people are there. But how many persons are there who are trying to be like them? Everyone is an individual. Everyone is an individual, and everyone should work in his or her own style. You can be guided for someone. If you are not able to do it correctly, you can get the suggestions, you can get the ideas, you can get the guidance, but you have to do it yourself. So, frankly, I can say that I am self-inspired. This was my inner thought that I should do something to for the welfare of these children, to the people with some impairments, with some special capabilities. I never say disability word. I never say, because everyone has capabilities. So we should call them a capable person only.
That's a beautiful perspective. And you have rightly said that self motivation is the first step. And you are I mean, your story is inspirational, of course, to see how much challenges you have faced, yet you stood by what you believed in.
True, and thank you.
And if you could share what you are doing like right now, your latest work that keeps you engaged.
Yes, of course. I would like to share. Uh, Hina, apart from all other works, what I am doing for the children with special capabilities, with persons with special capabilities, I'm working on a very ambitious mission, and that is called Mission Only Capability. Uh, that mission says that each and every person of this world is a capable person.
Okay.
Capabilities always vary. As you know, everyone, you have your own capabilities, I have my own. Capabilities always vary. Disability is just, in my views, disability is just an bogus, imaginary, and created word. Just to demoralize. If I cannot complete to any person, I can create a word to demoralize a person. So, in that way, this disability term came into existence. I strongly reject that term, and I appeal to all of our friends and audience to remove it at least from their mind. If we cannot remove it from the Oxford Dictionary, we can remove it from our mental dictionary. And everyone, if you just observe everyone, you can't search, you can't search two persons having equal and similar capabilities.
True.
You can make a survey in any classroom, in any society, in any country, anywhere. You can't search two people having equal and similar capabilities. So what is the difference? Why we tag a person with that disabled person like tagging? Why we assess the person in terms of their impairments? This process of assessment is very much faulty, very much polluted, and this is, of course, this is a result of a polluted mindset. And this starts from the very beginning. I mean, this starts from the parents. If if we if we treat our children with a dignified way, with respect, then how can our neighbor can treat them in a bad manner? He will not. But if we are treating them like that, you sit in the corner and just have your food, and you haven't do anything, you can't do anything like that. The position is disgusting now.
Okay. So you were
Uh,
mentioning about your ambitious mission.
yeah, mission only capability
Okay.
says says these things, that we should observe, we must observe uh, capabilities in every person. You must have seen some videos. Uh, I know personally so many people I have with me who are impaired, who have some impairment, who are visually impaired, who are locomotive problems, who have. But everyone is doing so great. I mean, there is nothing. There is nothing to do with that term disability. And for your kind information, I want to share it also that last year we have stopped that Disability Day. What is there to celebrate in disability? If we say that is World Disability Day, what is there to celebrate? Last 3rd December, we started a new tradition from our organization, that is World Capability Day, where we celebrated on 3rd December 2020 as a World Capability Day. And on that day, we invited such people on our platform who are excellently rich in their performances,
Okay.
in spite of that impairment. N- No sign of, even no sign of that term is there. And
Okay.
now the position is I always avoid to use this word.
So you have made the capability more strengthened, and this year also we'll celebrate the World Capability Days with with
If
a lot
you,
of
if
awareness.
you, if, Hina, if you have 2 minutes, I want to share one example.
Yes, sir.
Uh, Suppose four persons, including a wheelchair user, uh, come to a multi-story building, and in that building they were asked to go upstairs. Lift is not working, right? What will happen? All the four persons go together to the start point of the staircase, right? At that start point, the wheelchair user may say that I am not able to go further. Uh, all of you go. I am staying here. I am waiting here, right? The three people started going up, and after fourth one more person says that this is the fourth floor and I'm tired. I can't go up anymore. The same thing happens with the third person who says the same sentence on the seventh floor, and the fourth person can say this the same sentence on the 10th floor or 11th floor. But what happens when we assess? We never say that person who says I am not able to go further on the 10th floor. We never say that person disabled. We never say that person who is on the seventh floor and said the same sentence that I am not able to go further. We never say that person disabled who is on the third floor and said earlier that I am not able to go further. But as as soon as we see the person on wheelchair, we make a tag on that person that this is a wheelchair user, this is a disabled person. Why? Why this assessment? That wheelchair user is also a capable person. He started from his house. He came to that building. He entered to that building. This is that person's capability. Capability always this process of assessment is very much polluted, very much faulty.
Absolutely.
Everyone is saying the same sentence, and but the society, we people, tagging only one person who is on the wheelchair, not all others. See, everywhere. Take an example of an IS officer who has never seen a village life, right? He goes to a village and someone says that take this bucket and take this rope and pull out a bucket of water. What he will say? That I am not able to do that, right? And in the same village, some polio affected boy can pull out four buckets of water from the that well. But what happened? We always say only that person disabled who is pulling out four buckets of water. We never tell that IAS officer uh, who is saying first time that I'm not able to do that.
That's true. And you have drawn on another aspect that, yes, the abilities in the person may vary, and so we should respect each one with their own abilities and capabilities, and should not pass a judgment or any label for anyone.
Exactly. And and we why should we do that?
Hmm.
When we see the capabilities, simply if you improve a physics subject of a child, you have to focus on physics now. You can't improve physics by focusing chemistry. In the same manner, if you want to enhance the capabilities of a person, you have to focus on capabilities only. If you focus on impairments and you want his or her capabilities enhanced, not possible.
Right. With that intensive talk and very good points you have shared, what is it that you would like to tell people and send a message to people?
Mm, I want to appeal, I want to request each and every person listening this, uh, first of all, remove that word from your minds. Change your mindsets. Try to observe, try to look capabilities of every person, whether he or she is having some impairment or not.
Okay.
And our mission only capability is not only my mission. This mission belongs to each and every person of this world. Everyone can, anyone can join it, anyone can support us, anyone can come with us.
So if they want
But
to
we,
support, sir,
yeah,
if they want to support, where should they reach out?
you can make my phone number and email public. So any person can contact me. My phone is 24 hours on, and simply humbly requesting that please, please, please see only capabilities. There is nothing like disabilities in this world. Nothing is there like disability. Just just an imaginary term. So please reject it, and you can make this world a little happier.
Absolutely. And so, whomsoever is listening, I will share the email and I will share the email and the phone number of Sir in the post. And
Yeah.
you can also visit his website. I mean, I think so. You have a Facebook page, Sir?
Yes.
Okay. So you can visit his Facebook page and connect with him. And if he does not reply to any call, then do drop in a message. He will revert back.
Definitely.
It's lovely to listen to you, sir, and you are doing amazing work and making a difference, which we all should join hands and spread the awareness part. And it is
Thanks.
indeed that, yes, as you had rightly said, God is great and God has given you extra courage to face all the difficulties and challenges and move forward with your dream initially, reflection, and then penning down your thoughts, and then moving ahead to spread out and contributing to the community.
Thank you, Hina. Thank you very much for providing me this platform, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts and to share about my mission on the capability. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Most welcome, sir. We all are enriched by listening to you, and also the small details that you have shared. They are very important in creating the awareness. Thank you on behalf of our listeners, and
Thank you. Thank you so
thanks
much.
a lot, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Take care, sir. Bye.
You too. Bye. Bye.
Sometimes my body wake me up and says, "Hey, You haven't had pain in a while. How about pain? And sometimes I can't breathe. And that's hard to live with. But I still celebrate life and don't give up. How true these words are from Matty Stepnick as I listened to Dr. Sitanshu Kumar, who faced several life challenges, yet with each test his confidence and wish to do something for the community kept on growing. As a young boy of 13, he experienced pain, hurt, as he was still trying to adjust with his physical limitations and daily routine. Imagine the enthusiasm and energy chained with limitations, which will only grow with time. It's not easy. Lack of awareness and compassion made his situation tough, but he was tougher. Despite of all the hindrances, he managed to put a brave front and kept moving ahead. At this point, I would like to just add on quickly that parents, teachers, and all the caregivers should share the knowledge and awareness about PWD, that's people with disability. It is neither contagious nor something to laugh about. Respect and acceptance should be taught to each student from a younger age, since they are the foundation of society, the future generation. This is very, very important. As we move ahead, we came to know that since Sir was trying to come to terms about his rhythm on life, he met with an accident and his femur bone was fractured, and this made him confined to bed for 6 months. This was a turning point for him because as he was lying down in bed without an inch of movement, he thought about his own, you know, what was the purpose of life for him? What did it mean? He started writing. That was his childhood wish. As we listened and came to know about his journey, we realized that these were the darkest moments, and sometimes the childhood wish is a support system to us. He was very, very energetic and kept on writing. The collection of poems is available in Braille and it is accessible for free. Anyone interested may contact him. Later on, another turning point moment came for him, and the seeds of an NGO was sown. That was Shashwat Jigyasa. That's an organization working for adults and children with special capabilities and was against the concept of disability. With all this, as we know that he has been on wheelchair since 2005, which did not deter his determination from pursuing his passion. He is currently engaged with very ambitious mission, that is mission only capabilities. He has won many awards and was felicitated with honors, and the recent one being that Indian Glory Award that he was felicitated with for Best NGO of the year 2021. His vision to delete the word disability from the mindset of people by creating awareness through his ambitious mission, mission only capabilities. He started to celebrate this mission on 3rd December, and its inception was last year, celebrating as World Capabilities Day. His motto, capabilities will be challenged, and that is the beauty of life. We heard very insightful examples given by Sir, which is food for thought. With this positive thought, I end the episode. Hope you enjoyed listening to Sir. See you in my next episode with another guest. Till then, take care and be safe. Bye.